Ladies and gentlemen, WCFA members, non-members, potential members, past members and future members, and WCFA fans, and communications experts, leaders, managers. That's the most important, that we are fans of the modern communications. We have here today Lima Alhawamdeh, I have this privilege that my name is very easy to pronounce. But Lima will explain you how she can pronounce this. It's a typical British name she has. It's very easy to pronounce. But what is the most important is that Lima is a good friend and great professional. We met first time at the Davos Communication Summit this April, and we will speak later on about the Davos Communication Summit 2026, which will take place in the beautiful mountains of Alps in Switzerland in April 23-24. And I'm sure that Lima will be there as well. She's an amazing speaker, but also all of you guys, and you are invited to join us, and we'll talk about the Davos Communications Forum later on. We will talk about paid media today because the world had changed revolutionary. You can see on my background or my latest books published in the United States called The Global PR Revolution. And it was written in 2019 and published in 2019 by Simon & Schuster. But the most important is that I made a mistake. It was not a PR revolution. It was a revolution of the whole world, of the whole societies, of the whole businesses, of the way people behave to each other, not only communicate. And that's why we so used to use this free media, we call it social media, that we forgot about paid media. Sometimes we feel that we are the kings and the queens and the prince and the princess of the network, of the media, of the communications, because we have in our hands media. But what about paid media? Because some of the media, especially independent ones, they should survive. And that's why they must have some investment. And this is the reason Lima will speak today about the paid media. And I will tell you something which is not a big secret. She's a former lead digital growth manager at Meta. Can you imagine someone who has such a title, lead digital growth manager, for a very small company called Meta, and she quit? Can you imagine how big this person is? One day she said, okay, Meta, please calm down. I'm going to speak at the World Communications Forum Masterclass. So you will wait a little bit. I may come back to you when you are on my level. And with these words, short words, I would like to introduce you our speaker today at the monthly WCFA Masterclasses, Lima Alhawamdeh. Lima, it's your turn. And if you switch on your microphone, we'll be very happy.
Perfect. Can everybody hear me now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Deep in our hearts.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. Obviously, special thank you to you, Maxime, for the kind intro to the World Communication Forum Association. As you mentioned, we just came back from Davos. It was a brilliant, enjoyable experience where we shared with the entrepreneurial, world decision maker, strategic, some amazing, phenomenal entrepreneur who even put policies or get involved in policies. And obviously, we don't forget our politicians that share some valuable insights at the World Communication Forum in Davos. And I, as Maxime mentioned, my name is Lima Alhawamdeh. I'm the founder and the CEO of AI with Digital Marketing. For the past few years, I had the opportunity to lead a performance-driven marketing campaign from brands regarding in different sectors, from Tesla, and then I ended up working for Meta with a high growth startup and government bodies as well, back up to this initiative across the UK and Europe. Obviously, we recently shared some also of our work with the MENA region, and that was a very excited opportunity for us to start and to build ties there, and it went really successful, thankfully. And today we need to establish a few things regarding the paid digital media. And we are going to explore how to build media and a quite a trendy topic, which is the PR campaigns that are strategic, structured, not random, and measurable results. All what we were talking about today is our KPI. Our KPI, I don't want to bore you with everything else. And let's measure what everybody cares about, which is the return of investment. And this is how how we see and measure the success of campaign, of our work, if it was a proper paid campaign or if it was organic. So let's see how can you structure everything to build a successful campaign. Or let's talk about the basic steps, the minimum you should be considering in order to build something on a solid foundation that unshakable, and you don't go back from the start and start fixing everything that's built on a shakable foundation. So I'm going to start by talking about the laying the right foundation. Obviously, most campaigns underperform because they started with the tactics that's, I would say, instead of strategy, they start just, I want to start the campaigns, and that's it. But before you even touch on the ad perform, ask yourself, one, what does success look like? We're talking about campaign success. What does this look like? Is it a PR coverage, leads, calls, investment interest? So what do you actually want out of this campaign? Right. Are we aligned with our brand story? We need to look at our organic side. Does our website, does our social media reflecting on our story and presenting us in the perfect way? Or is the message we're sending is a little bit far away from what we're doing? Because later on, we will start understanding why these questions are important to ask ourselves before we start building even the foundation. Or if we want now to go back and look at our foundation, we need to ask ourselves these questions. Do we understand audience intent? Audience intent, they are playing a key role here. Why? Because without this audience, we cannot achieve anything. Whether you need a lead, a click, conversion, a different type of conversion, either if it's lead or a click or a call or submission or anything else. Without audience, we cannot get to what we want or what we want to achieve or whatever KPI you have. So we really need to identify our segment target, either with gender and or behavior or demographic or income and so on. We'll talk about it in details. We'll touch base on the PR now. Also, so the PR built interest, paid turn into another one, which is paid turn into action, and that's what we want. When we talk about paid, the first thing comes to anyone's head, I need budget. Yes, but, and that's it? No, we need budget because I'm waiting my budget, which is my investment, to turn this into a return. So all what we really care about here, we're not paying to waste money. We're not paying to just because we have to, or to fill the gap instead of being left out of the whole game in our certain industries. No, we are paying to get this campaign running to get a return of investment. And that's all what is matter, the return of investment. Could be tangible, could be intangible, and that's where we need to understand. It depends whether you're covering a product or a service or a PR campaign, you want awareness, whatever KPI you have in your head. All right. So this must be like as a crystal clear on your positioning. tone, timing, and that's all the foundation, to be honest. That should be your foundation. You need to know your tone. So when it comes, now we built the idea in our head that we need to have a solid foundation. All right. And we also built here that we need to have a clear goal set for us, for our campaign, for our company, for our investment, because we need to make sure if I'm investing 100 grand, I need to get 500 in return. So how can I do that? Foundation, it's been built. We know our brands. We know who's our audience. We identify our audience. We done the market research. We did check up on our competitor, and we could see we have the specific tools where you could see as well what the competitor, what type of campaigns they are running. So all that in terms of the research and set up our tone of voice and set up, let's say, the branding organically, this is all under foundation. All right. So now let's jump on the creating ad content that build the trust. Having an audience, it's not enough. Having me an audience is not enough. In order for me to take an action when I see your ad, I have to trust you as a brand. I have to think about this brand will offer me what I need. Or it does look professional, it does look presentable in a world where cyber attacks becoming tremendous. A stupendous amount of number we have nowadays where in terms of like reporting of a cyber attack and people complaining every day about it. So really the audience or let's say the segment target have to trust you because nowadays people can read between the lines. You can't over smart them, and that's good. That's good if you are doing the right thing, if you have a structure and a strategy to follow up. Obviously, from business to another, the strategy will be quite different. So your strategy, if you are a startup business, will be different from somebody already established. And somebody already established and rely fully on word of mouth, their strategy will be totally different from somebody already established, but they filled the gap in the digital sector for a long time and they've been there and they've been investing heavily. So we need to keep this in mind as well. So the section we talked about now is building a trust. Now let's talk about the content. Are we talking about building a trust? Okay, so let's jump on the content and the creative. Paid content that support PR or support any kind of, sorry, I keep mentioning PR because this is one of our main topics as well that we need to cover. But this is apply on any type of campaign and PR. So the paid content that support PR must do two things: build the trust, as we mentioned, and reinforce your earned social media narrative. I think nowadays we are struggling and we see anybody can use the social media. They think they can build up social media, but when they realize they will lack of the knowledge and the experience, sadly, when it comes to spending, when it comes to running campaign, that here they will know what's going on. I'm not too sure why my campaign is not working. Yes, maybe they're not investing on data, which is a normal person wouldn't, because data are very expensive to buy. Agencies like us, obviously, we have to, because we have to keep the clients happy. And this is, build the trust between us and our clients. We have to invest on data. However, a normal person will go and do the traditional optimization by identify the right segment target. So, but if they have done all of that and they know their segment target, they know who they are targeting, and they studied marketing, they've done it a million times, but there is something is not working. They have to go back to the foundation. It's not about the campaign anymore. This is something to do with the foundation. So we talked about here, we're reinforcing your earns for social media. What does that mean? Follow the branding guideline constantly. So following a branding guideline, because we're still talking about building a trust. I want to take this as give you an example. Maybe that will simplify the idea of building a good foundation, solid foundation. So basically, imagine you have a business page that just opened and you decide to open a business that's, let's say, I'm just thinking, sell doors, garage doors. So in order to build trust and to show this is a respected company, you need to have a logo. Surely, any business, you have all the tools in the world, and some of them free tools to create your own logo if you don't want it to be in a high standard. And some people, with time, they will upgrade and they will go to a proper professional where they can or they will manage to pay their full fees. But everybody now have access to all the tools, whether if it's free or if they need a little bit higher standard, they can hire professional, and they can do the sensitive editing, I would say, to meet the certain standard they require. So if you have the logo, you will usually, the graphic designer will also build a branding guideline. What's this branding guideline? Branding guideline have contain the font, colors, all the colors that you can use, all the font, tone of voice, and certain templates that you can use for social media will contain like several kind of templates you can use for social media, as well as your presentation, brochure, and proposals. So that's what is branding guideline. How this will help us? So whenever we create anything for this masterclass or any other masterclasses within one company, or let's say whenever we speak to client, our tone of voice is one, our font look the same, our from far away, as soon as people they look at this company, which is the garage door company, they can mirror and they can see, oh, I know this company, but they didn't even read it closely. But because of the font, the type of font, the colors they're using, it just now becoming very remarkable. And, people will not forget it because it's catchy. They've seen it many times, and this company used the same branding guideline, and they are very consistent. So it's very difficult to miss, or let's say, it's very difficult to not recognize them among their competitor. And that's what this garage door did. They have their logo, they have their branding guideline that help them, their graphic designer will use, or their social media specialist in-house will use this template, set templates, to create a social media post using these colors and using this font. It's very direct. So it's a tools that help the social media specialist and the graphic designer, whoever will be the man behind this, to create a trustworthy, professional, outstanding content that when you look at it for the first time, you will say, oh, look, respected company. There is consistency about it. There is a font that you can see it's built professionally. They're not using a random font every single time. And the colors, that's their colors. So they know these people, what they're doing, and they have agenda in place, which is the branding guideline to follow. We talking about the structure again, and that's what I said from the beginning. If you don't have the structure in place, it's hard. It's hard because it's hard to follow. You cannot just memorize it. People come and go. Also, you need to hand this material to the next employee or to share it with the rest of the employee or somebody from outside if you want to go into offline marketing and create a brochure or leaflet. So we established that follow branding guideline and being consistent is one of the keys in terms of the organic social media. Now we need to use a creative that's mirror your PR coverage and the whole tone. We talked about tone. So when it comes to the tone, it's our key, and tone is everything. We have now ChatGPT, fabulous tools to use. But how dangerous is this? I mean, I have one of my team here, our lovely Lola, on the call, and I did mention to her one time. I said to her, Lola, if you've seen, just to explain to her how dangerous if using copy pasting on ChatGPT, we don't do this. We have a policy in place. We had to put it recently that we banning this completely because nowadays people misusing ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a creative, great tools only if you know how to use it. But if I'm going to go and now use ChatGPT to create my content, that will backfire me. People will not like it. People will start maybe unfollowing the page because you are, let's say, overwriting and over formalizing, and you can tell the tone is not a human tone. You're not connected. It's becoming a ChatGPT connected, and that's where it's very challenging for a robot to identify your customer. They don't know what's your customer like, because from a customer to customer, from area to area, they are different. My customer, all the world, well-known people, they need a digital marketing service. But my customer here in the UK is different than my customer in Europe, is different than my customer in Germany, for example, if I want to be more precise, different than my customer in Middle East, completely different. So my tone, it will have to be different. Even if we speak one language, English, still the tone has to be different. So it's very important to focus on the tone, tone and tone and tone. ChatGPT, great tool to take ideas, to maybe open our eyes on things for research, but always the human elements cannot nothing can overshadow the human elements, I would say. Include your proof point. I always ask a client, whenever I meet a new client, tell me what's your unique selling point. Your unique selling point, it's the whole thing that will make us scale from the start. We need to start with something. Give me something different. So if you are doing like everyone else, how are you going to stand out? How are you going to expect me to look at you and take an action by calling your business or submitting a form or buy from you? You need to find and identify your unique selling point. And also when we talk about PR, it's very important, the PR role here, because if you have any award, show it. If you have media coverage, media quotes, recognizable logo, as we mentioned in the early stages when we want to create a guideline, we have to make sure this is all being delivered and everybody knows this about your brand, because it's something good to shout about. And also, why do we not show and cover the good things that will help us to scale? So, but we need to be careful here. We need to slightly to lean into authentic formats. I spoke about this in Davos. Being relevant to your audience, since we all agree that, I hope that audience now are very smart and can read between the lines. So being authentic in format, behind the scene, showing everything behind the scene, testimonial, let's say UGC style. All these are, I would call them as a human elements where make people connect with you. And people usually interact more with these kind of content, human elements. Honestly, we could create a super edited video that maybe 10 people will interact with it, and we could sometimes create just behind the scene image, just one single image, not even a video or edited. People could interact more with the behind the scene, obviously, if it's carry a valuable insight, or even a valuable idea. And that's because the authenticity, being authentic, is very important and is very aligned and is very relevant to people. And we are in AI world. People appreciate AI and they are more aware and educated about AI. And it's playing a crucial, dangerous role in our life that we need to take advantage of. But careful, because also people like to see what's relevant in a world that it's lacking more of relevant content and real. They want to see what's real now, because anything perfection can be created now. So sometimes imperfection, it's the way, but not always. We have to show, obviously, our brand image, branding guideline, that we follow branding guideline. We have a structure, we have everything established. We are a respected professional company, that we have our copywriter. We know we are careful about our tone of voice. And let's take stages, and even I would proofread that. My colleague will proofread that. Because it's very important. You are talking to everybody. It's very important to care about the message you are delivering. And because this message you are delivering, you are one person behind the screen, but you are that person that presenting the brand. So it's only fair for the brand to pay a crucial interest in looking into the content once and twice and three times before it's get scheduled, if you are using scheduling software, and it's get posted. And so we have talked about establishing the trust and the branding guideline and the tone, which is the tone and the tone and the tone. This is very important around the PR expert, but shows how much will affect us as a marketeer as well. So the goal, make the ad feel like a part, or your content, even if it's organic, feel like a part of a credible conversation. You want people to engage with you. You don't want the boring content. Anybody, I can just go to my phone and I can find any content. I can copy paste it, change it slightly. But does this mean that it's relevant? Does this mean that there is a thought behind it? No. And that's where it's going to backfire you. How you will know you're not thoughtful enough? Because you will realize, especially if it's a service what you're providing, you will realize there is not much engagement, not much relevance, anything relevant, not much of it. Now you will decide to switch and to become more thoughtful with your content, and closer to people, I would say. Oh, but Lima, I'm still not getting anything. You're not gonna get, this is need patience. You will get something, you will get to the relevant people, but that's need work. Start by being, as a first step, building the foundation and be relevant and close to people. So now the strategic we kept talking about and structuring, the strategic amplification. I talked to so many people about this, and surprisingly, not many know about what's the strategic amplification when it comes to the ads. Meta, LinkedIn, Google, could talk about TikTok, Snapchat, but I want to just mention these ones because Meta and LinkedIn, they are quite different. And Google, it's a lot different as well. So I think these three platforms, obviously Meta on Instagram and Facebook, as well as WhatsApp. So you will need, the beauty thing about Meta, you will need only one budget to place your ad across the three platforms: Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Obviously, that's as well as cover third party, like any other websites. We could include that. But remember, when we talk about Facebook, also cover the ads around the marketplace. Your ad will be not only in the feed, in a marketplace, in so many placement. Stories will be in the feed, will be on Messenger. And when we talk about Instagram, your ads will be on the video stream, will be on the reels, will be on stories, will be on the search. So wherever you would like to place your ad, you can place it. And that's the beauty about these platforms, that allows you to have a several placement, unlike several other platforms. And that's, I would say, it's a very important area to invest in. You're only talking about one budget covering all these. So you don't need a budget again for Instagram. You don't need budget again for WhatsApp. And another separate budget. You'll end up with three budgets. Only one budget covered these three platforms, important platforms. When we talk about Google, obviously Google contain campaigns. So you need only one budget, and you break the budget across all these campaigns. All right. And it's good to mention that YouTube fall under Google campaigns. A lot of people think YouTube it's a separate platform, but YouTube is which is called video campaigns. So all your videos that need to be sponsored will go under a video campaign that cover Google. And again, with Google also you can contribute with the third party. So now we talked about what we need to focus on. So let's dive into this. So I'm loving this because now we will talk about the actual campaigns. You have three majors, we said. I would call them three engines, three major engines to amplify your campaigns or your PR messaging. Meta custom audience, great for retargeting, website visitors, let's say emails list. I don't understand how so many of us, including me, at some point I didn't know how important the customer list is. Customer list, when you have a client coming to you through all these years, buying from you, and now they just not coming to you again, and you cannot just keep sending them messages to remind them of yourself that you are existing, because this will come across a little bit risky and maybe oversalesy. We don't want to do that. No, no, no. What we need to do, we need to create a retargeting campaign if it's Meta. But if we talk about Google, we need to talk about remarketing campaign. So we have the customer listing. It has certain details about this previous customer in order that will help us. It will be usually in an Excel sheet. It contains the name, the email, the phone number, and let's say address, whatever other and so on you would like to include. And we can create an ad using this customer listing, or you can create the ad using this customer listing. And this kind of ad will be retargeting, remarketing, or regenerating campaigns from your previous customer. Because if they're a happy customer, why don't you add them to your customer list? These data are costly, and it's very important to understand and to learn how important these data to you as a marketeer or as a business, because you are having the tools in your hand, but you don't know how to implement it, how to use it, or what I have this information. I have tons of paper of my previous clients, but I don't know how to get back to them, or I don't know how to remind them of myself, because there is so many competitors came and they took my place by approaching them, by let's say offer them something new, but now I realize that, and I'm offering something new again. So I need to bring my client, take the control back, and take my clients and try to approach them. All what you need to do have the customer listing, be structured. These kind of the admin work that even it's important, and see this is very effective when it comes to social media campaigns and PR campaigns. When it comes to LinkedIn, ads, powerful, we all know that. I'm sure everybody here in this call know that, but it's powerful for B2B, business to business, partnership, investors, decision maker, because we can select exactly people without having a customer listing. If we have a customer listing, perfect, plus to create a remarketing campaign. But if we don't have a customer listing, LinkedIn powerful for partnership and investors and getting new other businesses. Why? Because you can select, let's say, I want business development manager, I want marketing manager in other agencies, I want decision makers, CEO, all that we can target it. You can target it by using LinkedIn ads campaign. All what you need, your budget in place, your foundation established, and your page, it looks trustworthy for the client to fill the form. Because please be very careful here with me. Let's say, I'm just gonna try here to explain this. If that's your ad here, all of that your ad, and I think they having like some, let's say, some courses they are selling, or some houses they are selling. Oh, I'm looking at houses in this area, and these houses looks nice, as you targeted me, so now I've seen the ads. But before I fill my information, because now people very careful on filling information, or before I call them, let me see if they are worth it. So what I'm gonna do, your ad is here, it's came in front of me on LinkedIn through through your business page. Now I need to go here to click on the business page before I fill the form or before I call. Do these guys look trustworthy? Do these guys look like a respected company? I'm gonna click here. I have there's two possibility here. Either the company does not look great, they didn't care about the foundation, and there is a huge risk. And I would say here, oh no, I'm not gonna be bothered even talking to them. So I will bounce back without taking any action. But do you think this is the only risk you have as a marketeer, as an advertiser? No. The risk is bigger than this. This click, we all hear about cost per click, obviously, and this term usually used in Google. This click specifically costing you money. People, when they are bouncing back of the page and they decided not to continue because of your page, because they entered your page and they have seen within your page, they will bounce back without taking any further action, because sadly you haven't taken the initiative of preparing the page for them to make it look trustworthy. So you weren't fair to your own business. So the other scenario, which is my favorite scenario, and I love when my clients comes to me and they prepare ready to do paid campaign, but they don't know they need to have a solid foundation. But as soon as I looked at their page and I realized they have a solid foundation, everything great, following branding guideline, they delivering the right message, I feel very pleased, and I always mention it to my clients. And the other scenario, which is my favorite, as I said, that's the page fabulous. As I said, doesn't have to be over editing. No, because sometimes this could backfire the advertiser. No, it doesn't need to be that. Always need to be relevant. So if it's edited and relevant, and it's not overshadowed by, let's say, robotic or AI technology tools, and there is a human elements to it, you are winning as an advertiser, hopefully. So you're ready to go with your campaign. Now, all what the work need to be done within the campaign itself in terms of the optimization, structuring the campaign, and everything else. So this is LinkedIn, and why it's B2B. Any business to business must use LinkedIn because it's more powerful. One thing, because we talked about it's powerful because you can target the decision maker, and there is a tools allows you to do this, even without adding data to it, even without buying data to it. Buying data, it's a plus, but usually agencies usually use these tools. Or let's say public listed company, big companies, they will have usually access to these buying data, because as a business, you don't expect them always to have a normal business that's not related to digital marketing sector or PR. You don't expect them to buy data and, have a huge budget each month to buy these data. So usually you will get this within your digital marketing agency. You hoping so. One thing I need to mention, LinkedIn is good and precise, but if your business 2C, try to stick with Meta for one specific reason. So you can scale to LinkedIn after, but LinkedIn, I must say, it's a very expensive platform compared to Meta. So the cost per lead I would get in Meta, let's say the cost per lead will be start with £4, or let's say it depends on the market, where we're targeting, how we're optimizing, where the location, everything. So let's say, for example, it could start with a £12, or could it start with, and then with time, and we keep optimizing, the cost per lead will drop to £4. Then with time, will go to £2. So Meta is very affordable platform to start with a small budget. So if you have £200, you can do your own testing. But when it comes to LinkedIn, you can't do this, because this you can, but you're not going to get much out of it. When it comes to LinkedIn, you will realize that the £200 could cost you this lead. One lead could go up from, let's say, 70. And to be honest, I've never seen leads from the start was 70. They're usually a lot higher. 70, and then the lead could go like to 400, 500, 600, depends on the competition and everything else, and the bidding. It's all work on a bidding strategy, and that's how these paid campaigns work. The good advertiser know how to drop this down by the optimization, and if the marketing agency use the relevant data and they investing on data from Dataforce, they obviously will be able to drop this down, because they already narrow the audience. They know what kind of audience, to the point they narrow it down. You need to put a little bit extra work and effort to make this work. So Google customer reach, ideal for engaging known contacts via search and YouTube. So any, like, let's say normal business, the first campaign they will go to it through Google, a search campaign, because you can maybe reach to majority of your goals, not all, but majority of them. However, when it comes to video, you really need to use YouTube. If you have like a podcast, and this is very actually important for PR. So when it comes to podcast and PR as well, a lot, obviously, videos will be used in podcast. And the platform that they use heavily is YouTube. So we know when to go to YouTube. Not only that, also if we need to show some of videos that shows a structure, or let's say building being built in an amazing way. So all what we need to is go to and create the video. We have to be careful, because there is also certain ratio you have to consider when you're creating that video, and edited in a appropriate way, and then you can go ahead with your optimization, and give it to the advertiser to use it within the campaign. So here is the keys. Don't just lose, let's say, don't just lose or blast your content. Use these tools to reach everything you need in terms of the goals. That's to do with content creation and digital sector. Journalist, you can see journalists have visited your site. Partners who have already downloaded your media kit, could be a brochure. A majority actually of clients, big companies, let's say, who do an aircraft extension buildings, create buildings from scratch, modular buildings. And this is example actually from my existing clients. They are interested in people who download their brochure and submitting the form, because they're usually serious, and there is potential interest there. So also these tools are good for investor who have watched a keynote and by identifying them as a decision maker. And they could be identified as an investor themselves as well through LinkedIn. And as well as, of course, your prospective customer. I would just put it as a reminder there. Your customer listing is very important here. And please, 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 I hope from everybody here in this call, if you have a customer that been visiting you for a while and they're not there anymore, try to gather all this data. Try to gather all this data and see what you can do. We have to be very careful, obviously, for data protection. You cannot share this without legality there. But you can, and you're not sharing this you only with anyone if you are the advertiser. But if you are another marketing, sorry, if you are another industry and you try to give it to your advertiser, bear in mind data protection, please, because it's a big topic and we have to be always safe. But it's very helpful, and the return of investment from the customer listing, phenomenal. You are approaching customer already tried your service, so if they're happy, it's easier for them to come back. Offer them something to come back. Just don't expect them to come back. Offer them something better. You need now to stand out. You need to up your game. So whether you are offering them something new, they didn't know that you do it, or you offering the same thing in a different way. Always the tick and the tactic to put yourself on the customer's shoe. And that's the best thing I ever heard. And the advice, I would always take it with me and pass it on. But once you put yourself on your customer or your potential client shoe, things will be easier. Decisions will be easier. Once you put yourself in the potential customer shoe, you will know, if I read this post, will I take actually an action? And then you answer yourself. And this answer will help you to determine, or let's say, to give you an indication whether what you're doing is right or wrong or need adjustments. All right? So, paid is a tool to accelerate things. So paid is the accelerator to your campaigns and PR engine. We agree on that. So I have actually a friend who started her clinic, and she just against the paid completely, and she just wanted to start thinking she can build it organically, and she actually built it, but she had to get some tips. And she got it through influencer marketing. And she got it through offering something for somebody who have, again, influencer, a huge amount of followers. But she thought this is not paid. This is paid, but this is paid through the, influencer marketing. So if you think you are accelerating without the paid, I will break this for you, and the answer is no. There is something about you. There is something you are about your business being done in terms of the investment. It's all have to be paid to pay back. Unless you are a monopoly buyer, that's nobody have your service or your product, you are in a very lucky position, my dear. So in this situation, I would hold the flag for you and I would say, well done, continue. You don't need to pay a penny or invest. Or unless you've been investing for a long time and you get into a good stage where you have enough clientele and you don't want anymore. So this is the two lucky scenarios where we're hoping everybody to reach out to. So now we need to talk about the audience segments and targeting, which is, I start giving a glance about it a few minutes ago, excuse me. And that's only because I know will be, I would say, could be a complex topic for people who never know how important to know your audience. You might know your audience, but you might not maybe pay attention to identify your audience through your ad campaigns. So let's go a layer deeper now. We talked about the segment target and the audience and how important to know your audience. We need now to get deeper into it by just maybe a few layers. So too many campaigns fail. I hate this word, but I have to say it. Fail because the targeting is generic or lazy. It's true, but it has to be said. Somebody, the advertiser, is lazy behind the screen and they thinking if I write, oh, somebody interested in, so I am a business and I do, let's say, cars. I fix cars and I am behind the screen and I'm the advertiser and I want to advertise for this business and all I type there is cars. What about what's in the concept? What this is the industry, cars industry, but what's in it? What they do exactly? So this is very important to be careful to identify the actual campaign and break it down. Break it down. I know it takes time, but remember and imagine the return of investment you will get out of it. Just remember the impact that on your client, that you looked after their every single penny they have spent by doing your job correctly. That's all what you need to do. Do your job correctly and break it down. If it didn't work first time with you before because you didn't break down everything, you didn't look at the detailed targeting, please go and try again. Because this can build and fail businesses, honestly, especially if it's not well known yet. So that's why I said it's too many campaign fail because it's targeting, it's lazy or either generic. Instead, we need to think if I need to structure this and make it more organized. If you ask me, Lima, how can I think about my segment target or my potential client? How can I identify them? Again, as I say to my team always, think about it, 3 questions. 3, not 4, 3 only. Who, where, and what? Who are we speaking to? And where are they in the customer journey? Who we are speaking to and where they are in the customer journey. Lastly, what do they need right now? When you know the answer for question number 2, which is where they are right now in the customer journey, you will answer the third question easier by telling yourself what do they need to hear right now. Tips, awareness stages. If I need to give you awareness stages, use education and social proof. Do not try to oversell. Do not try to oversell. Do not try to oversell. Always try to provide a solution because everyone else nowadays doing that. They are overselling. Be the lifesaver guy. Be the guy that everyone need, and you want to create a solution, create a testimonial, and show them how you case study, how you resolve a problem before. Do not try to resell. And this is an indirect, I know you want to sell, but this is an indirect message for them to join you. So we agreed that we don't need to try to oversell. Consideration stages, comparison, testimonial, and PR figures, all that, and PR futures as well. The feature coming from PR are very crucial. So please, if you have any, make sure to shout about it. PR playing a crucial role in our industry nowadays. And if you haven't digged into it, please go ahead and try to research, do your own work, and get yourself out there. because people, if you don't do the work, how people will find you and know about you? Design stages, use the urgency. If there is a, let's say, a Christmas campaign, or if there is a Father's Day campaign, Mother's Day campaign, public holiday, use the urgency, use the offer, use use the urgency results. These are powerful tools. And you may notice that majority of these messages written in red, written in yellow, they use also certain colors, make your message stands out. And you are allowed, by the way, to go against your branding guideline when in within this message itself, because you are delivering a catchy message. Do not do it from like first few months, because people still do not know your branding guideline yet. No, people know your branding guideline. So as soon as they suddenly they will see different coloring, yes, that will catch their attention. And that tells a lot. So similar, if I am wearing all the time a suit and suddenly I'm wearing a dress, of course that will make people question that or think about it. So use like the stages, the urgency, results, anything like that, or offer if you have any. Use the tools to bring yourself out there. So your message tone must be shift depends on where they are. That's what separates stages, campaigns from, let's say, whole noises and whole other competitors. We need to be special. We need to grab attention. And we don't want to overdo it. We need to be as well aligned and relevant and authentic. And trust me, you will sooner or later you will be in the front if you follow the tips I'm giving you right now. So measuring results, and that's where everybody starts panicking, or everybody like to brag about, especially good marketeer. Measuring results beyond vanity metrics. Now, to a favorite topic, metrics. It's easy to get caught up in an impression, clicks, views, but they are not the whole story, really. Inbound inquiries, I'm sure some already understood this about me, that I care about conversion, that's actually convert. Inbound inquiries, qualified leads, call booked, coverage uplift, brand lift. You can measure real impacts with tools like Meta Brand, Meta Brand lift studies, and these ones usually help to assess the percentage, I would say, or the perception as well of it changing. And comparing like this month to what I've done to a previous month, how much I spent, how much did I get? These are the things that you really need to be careful, because if this campaign is not working, what if I am running two campaigns on Meta, but this kind of campaign, brand awareness, or let's say traffic campaign, sending traffic toward the website, it's costing me each click £12, or let's say £20, but I'm not getting, and I'm spending so much, and I only get, let's say, 12 click. I spend the same amount on a lead generation campaign, but the cost per lead, not a £20 like the traffic campaign. So the traffic campaign, by making people submit the form in the website, it was £12, it was £20, sorry. And now the cost per lead submitting the form through Meta itself, it's, let's say, £6. So I'm spending here and there exactly the same because I set a lifetime budget, but I'm getting more with the lead generation. Of course, I'm going to take this budget from the traffic campaign and I will put that and added it to the campaign doing better, which is the lead generation campaign. Hence why measuring and monitoring is very important, because it will make you and will take you to a level where now you know what you're getting from what you're spending, and you controlling that rather than just spending and just sit back. No, it has to be done fully. When we start the job, we expect to finish it. And if we don't finish it, nobody else will finish it for us. With time, especially if you don't do a regular optimization, I'm sure everybody does here, but if you don't do regular optimization and narrow it down slightly, this is the cost per leads will not be really any different. So you are chopping a lot of money out there. And I'm not saying the lead generation always better. No, some clients actually consider the form submission through the website is more serious, people. But we need to compare, and that's why it's very important to have a column in the leads to tell us about each lead, where they come from which campaign, and what's the outcome. So please monitor the spending, monitor the cost per lead, monitor the whole spending, and monitor the return, the number of the return of investment, and as well as monitor the quality. And the quality is above everything here. So we talked about the measure the messages and everything else. Now we really need to go into a smart campaign structure to avoid just any distraction with this. So audience, I'm just going to even like good campaigns, I'm just going to cover these few points because they are very important to mention. Even good campaigns can lose steam, and here is how to prevent them. Audience, don't ever over target the same people, because they might end up blocking you actually, or it might end up you are bombarding their feed. Always a change, and that's why regular optimization is very important. So don't ever try to target the same people over and over. Refresh creative and creatives like the images. If you are putting single image, create a carousel. If you are putting carousel, create a video every 10 to 14 days. Do not keep it for long, because it will look like nobody is looking after your campaign. If I kept seeing the same ad sponsor, same image, same everything, same message, I probably will end up maybe asking Meta not to show me this page again, or the ads from this page, because they are bombarding my feed and I don't want to see that. So we really need to be careful and mindful how we are delivering and how we optimizing our audience. So the message duration. So just let me just get my notes. So the message we're delivering, so to keep the core of the message consistent across the channel.
Lina, I apologize. I think we should a little bit go to the end, just to leave the space for questions from our.
Of course, yeah. So I have the message to cover here. We have to be consistent. The trick for high performance is a trick always that 20% of a creative role, 20% of the message should be always descriptive and aligned. This is also matching with what I said earlier in terms of the organic. Real world insight, always take Tesla, big companies, as a case study and what they have done in terms of the all their campaigns and how they achieve the results. So look at the real world insight. I know now we coming into the closing up, so I'll just wrap this up. The future performance marketing lies with the PR and paid. Please, guys, go ahead and give me any question you would like me to cover or explain further.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my dear. It was very interesting. And thank you very much for not using PowerPoint, because we all are fed up with PowerPoint and the slides.
Yeah, saying that anybody would like the presentation, please let us know and we will be happy at WFCA to send it.
Yeah, so Lima wanted to provide to each of you, dear participants, special certificates. So if you are so kind to send your email addresses to Jessica or to the main office email address of WCFA, then Lima will sign for you a special certificate for being with us at this amazing June masterclass of WCFA. I open the floor for questions. Please go ahead.
There is one from Chetna. Chetna says, Chetna here. Actually, Chetna, you can ask yourself.
Chetna, where are you? Raise your voice.
Hi.
Chetna, happy wedding.
Hello. Thank you.
Very
Nice to see you, Maxime.
All our best wishes.
Lima.
This is the first official Davos wedding.
Congratulations, dear.
So you created the history.
Thank you. And I really appreciate your wife's gift, which I wore on my wedding day. So I wore that perfume on that day. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Lima, your presentation was really useful, especially because I've recently changed my role from working at CERN in public relations to a private company, much like Tesla, called Advantix, and we are dealing with e-mobility sector. So I was curious to know if you could give some details, advice on how was your campaign for Tesla, what were the results of it? Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. This is a very actually valuable question. So that's why I said always we need to look at the real world insight. And Tesla is a great example. With Tesla, we align PR event, I would say as event coverage with Meta campaign and targeting like eco-conscious, but a tech investor. So everybody who was more into tech. So we targeted the tech investor because Tesla, it wasn't as now. We're talking about 10 years ago. The result is in like 60% increase. Sorry, I need to look at the stats here. 60% increase in qualified inbound leads. And one of our AI with a client is actually a health tech brand that's subsequent PR coverage for that specific topic. But we target heavily with Tesla, that tech investor. And we not only that, we went to look at as well and inject a lot of information into the IT. So we created a customer listing who were interested with the previous cars in Tesla, and we retarget the same people for the new Tesla model. We also get involved with the, let's say, customer research. So we looked at, and that was an important role to play, because as much as you think it's campaign to start, but the research is important. We played a crucial role in looking after also the research. So we gather all the data. Many of the engineer-minded here, Shitna, I'm sure you are similar. You would gather all the information. I kind of get how you think, but you will gather all the information and break it down. And that's what we've done. We gather all the information, what they like about Tesla, and we get this information to our other development team. And also we share the same information with the marketing team, which is our team. And we got heavily involved with this research. And that helped us to create the message, because we know what they like, we know what feature they like. Now all our message will focus on the feature they are looking at or they like. We're not going to focus on a feature that for us it's amazing as a Tesla employee, but for our segment target they don't care about. No, we need to see what in our research we saw what it's make them let's say impressed by the product, or why they love the product. And this is how we manage to create our message, depends on that.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? I use the opportunity to let you know that we have every month masterclasses, and the next one will be on July 16. And we will be launching a WCFA magazine, a Davos magazine, in September. So our editor-in-chief, Mike Soughton, who was with us in Davos, will be the host of the next masterclass under the title, How PR Can Drive Sales. Let's see what Mike will share with us on July 16. Also, I have a very important note that next WCFA Summit, next Davos Communication Summit, will take place on April 23-24 in Davos. The sooner you register, the better price you have. There will be huge discount. All of you will receive emails, of course, with the information from Jessica and the team. But put in your calendars, April 23 next year. So if you come April 22 to Davos, it's very easy, by the way. You fly either to Zurich or to Basel or to Bergamo in Italy, just next to Milan. And then you take a train, you take a bus, you take a cab, and you will be in 2 hours to Davos. And then the feeling is, Lima can share with you at Chetna in a minute, the feeling is amazing.
Yeah.
Even in April 23, the weather will be much better and it will be sunny. And it will be sunny also with the smiles of Lima and Chetna and Jessica and the rest of the team. So any other questions to Lima, ladies and gentlemen? Like how is the weather in Manchester and what's new in the British rock music or something like that?
I just want to mention one thing, Maxim, if you allow me. It's worth mentioning as well, the World Communication Forum and Association in Davos will be also held in the Davos Congress Center. So I remember it was one of my dream to go and visit there when I was younger, where all the world leaders gather in one place. Some of the, head of government, head of states, presidents, and queens and kings, they being in the same spot where you're going to be next year, hopefully. So I'm looking forward to see as much as possible from you guys there and welcoming you myself with the rest of the team.
But we had Queen Lima and Princess Chetna with us this year. So next year, we'll have them again.
Thank
That's
you.
for sure.
Pleasure.
So if there will be no more questions, Lima, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Shukriya, or whatever language you want, I can use it. And please, ladies and gentlemen, send to Jessica and to our office your email addresses. So Lima will send you special certificate of participation. You put them on the wall and you will increase your branding maybe 150% immediately, just with the signature of Lima. Thank you again.
Thank you, everybody.
Looking forward to see you again on July 16 to share the masterclass with Mike. And you can contact us any time of the day and night, 24/7, and ask whatever question you need just to make your business much better, more successful, and finally, to have a better world, to restore peace on the global planet, and to grow our business quietly. What I can say from my side is, God bless you.